All right. Hi, my name is Professor Courtney Boyd, and welcome to UAS 111. I'm so excited to have you all this semester, and I know that I've had a couple of you for other classes, so it's going to be so nice to see you again. Um, so it's so sorry that we're not able to see each other in person, um, but I hope that you guys are staying warm and don't get sick playing outside in the snow, all right? This video today is going to be really, really short. I'm just going to go over the syllabus. Um, UAS 111 is definitely a very, I'm gonna call it a lab almost. I'm gonna call it a lab because my intention with this class and you guys this semester is to fly. We are going out and we're really getting your flight hours because a lot of the drone piloting positions, a lot of the UAS based positions, when they hire people, they're definitely looking, and even inside of the job postings, they're definitely looking for people who have anywhere between 50 and 100. A lot of them say 100 flight hours. So we're really trying to get some well documented flight hours, but also making sure that you guys fly responsibly and are fly skilled, that you're skilled at flying, right? So that's really expect to have a lot of fun in this class, right? Expect to fly all the time. Of course, that's um if the weather allows it, right? That's if the weather allows it. Alrighty. So let's get into this syllabus, right? UAS systems, uncrewed aerial systems 1. It is a 3 credit course. So if you want to come and see me, my office is in A214, right? And that's inside of the AIC on the 2nd floor. So if you know where the lab that holds the Amica robot is, I'm across from that. If you know where video gaming, the video gaming, I don't know what to call them, lab, the video game computer lab where they do esports and whatnot. If you're standing in front of their lab and you turn to your right and walk straight, you'll go directly to my office. Um, so sometimes I'll have a sign posted on my door that says, I'm over working on the Amica robot, and it has a little arrow pointing to the other side. And just feel free to walk in. Even if I look busy, like feel free to come in and because I like talking to you guys and I love seeing you guys pop up. So cboyd@rbc.edu is my email. That is the absolute best way to contact me. I will see the Canvas messages, but it's just I'll see them significantly later than if you just send me an email because I'm checking my email all the time. Alrighty. So my office hours are going to be Mondays, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And you will be able to find me during those hours in A214. The Tuesdays, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. office hours, I am planning to have those virtually. And so I will be posting a Teams meeting link for those. All right. So again, the course description, basically we're flying. We're flying, mission planning. We're gonna look at putting payloads on the drones. This is a lab. By all means, this class is really lab intensive. All right. And then we have the course objectives and the learning outcomes. And you guys will see me post these on our assignments and inside of exams. Basically, what this is telling you is what you're supposed to learn. That way, I teach you what I'm supposed to. Alrighty. Mhm. So the required texts and resources. I'm not requiring a textbook for this class. I will. I'm in the process of trying to secure some simulation software for you guys, just so that you get more experience with different projects that I might not be able to tell you so much about, like using drones to inspect bridges or something like that. So I'm looking into that. There's a possibility that you'll have to pay about $50 for the simulation software. But I'm trying to see what I can do to get you guys the software for free. So that's to be determined. But just in the event, um, that it does end up being about $50. Just be prepared for that. Course requirements, this needs to be updated. So you can ignore this part. I'm not going to have you guys do any programming assignments. This is from my other class. I will post another syllabus fixing this part. Anyway, so the withdrawal policy, attendance policy, really, this is the sort of class you don't want to miss class, right? Because we're going to have flight logs. We're trying to get you your flight hours, right? So this is the kind of thing where you really you miss class, and I don't really know what to tell you. We could maybe make up some flights in office hours if you have an excused absence. But remember that an excused absence does not sound like, hey, Professor Boyd, me and my family want to go on vacation to Italy for a week or 2 weeks. Let me make up all of the assignments for 2 weeks straight. No, that's not that's not an excused absence. If it's an excused absence, you're bringing me a doctor's note or you're bringing me a funeral pamphlet. Cool? Alrighty. And of course, plagiarism, don't plagiarize. You're not going to really have a chance to in this course, so less worried about that. And then of course, the student resources for you guys. Alrighty, so on to the really well, I mean, all of it's important, but right, y'all want to know, how am I going to grade? How are you going to get the points? What to really expect in this class? So you're going to have 2 lab exams, one midterm and one final. Expect the lab exams to be a short written portion, but then a more extensive, more challenging practical flying lab, right? Practical flying like exam. Alrighty. We're supposed to be getting different kinds of obstacle courses, and I know I'll get to the topics later, but just expect there when I say 2 lab exams, a short written portion, but a pretty extensive flying exams. Cool. Alrighty, 14 flight logs. And that's just right. We're trying to get you guys those flying hours. We're trying to get them documented in case you do decide to apply to be a drone pilot. And I hope everybody does. And I hope, yeah. Anyway, so 14 lab activities, and that's just maybe worksheets and different things that'll go along with the topic that we're talking about each week. Cool. And then 14 simulation assignments. And again, I'm still trying to trying to get you guys those simulations for the low. But you could expect that to be, if I give you a simulation assignment on this Tuesday, it wouldn't be due into the following Tuesday, right? Late work policy, my late work policy is pretty straightforward. Late work will receive a maximum grade of 50%. Turn it in late, I give you half credit. Pretty straightforward. And then I already sort of talked about missing a day earlier. Alrighty. So let's take a peep at our tentative schedule. And of course, this is subject to change throughout the semester. But first this week, if you took my last class, then you are ready to take the FAA Part 107 exam. And so you've probably already been in contact with me about getting that scheduled for you. So I'm so excited for you guys to take that and pass that, and that's going to be fantastic. If you are not from the last class and you are not, which means you're not prepared to take the Part 107 course, I mean, Part 107 exam, then I'm going to need you to go through and complete the trust and get the trust certification, which posting a, I will be posting a Canvas page about getting the trust certification. It should only take, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 30 minutes to an hour. I can't remember how long that takes. Anyway, I will be posting instructions for the trust. And so you're going to need to have the trust or the FAA Part 107 done before we fly, right? So even if you are taking the FAA Part 107 exam, I suggest, if you haven't already, to go ahead and take and also get this trust certificate. So what is the difference between the two, right? The trust is for recreational flyers, right? The trust is for people who just want to fly for fun. But of course, if you want to be a paid drone pilot, you've got to get that Part 107, right? So trust is for funsies, and that's why it's okay to use trust to fly for this course. But our goal, the goal of this whole program, right, is to get you guys prepared to be real drone pilots. So inevitably, we want you guys to get that FAA Part 107. Now, if you're in this course, you didn't take the last course, this is your first course with me, your first course in the UAS program. Do not be afraid that you didn't do the ground school course. We will be re-offering the ground school course. And although you are taking the course following the remote ground school course, you can still go back and take that course. So I can help you prepare for the Part 107. Um, yeah, and in some circumstances, the university will be paying for students to get the Part 107 and putting students forward for different internships. I know right now we've selected some people to possibly be interns for Richmond International Airport in their drone piloting program. So, but we can only put people forward who have taken and passed that FAA Part 107 and plan to complete the certificate program at RBC. Anyway, so go ahead and knock the trust out. And if we haven't spoken about scheduling the exam, I'm pretty sure I spoke to all of you guys, but if we haven't spoken about scheduling the exam, please reach out to me ASAP. Anyway, so week 2, flight authorization and documentation, right? So we're going to talk about filling out, having a flight logs and making sure that you're allowed to fly where you're flying. Hmm. Um, if you were in the last class, that's going to be the flight authorization information is going to be pretty familiar to you. Alrighty. And then week 3, basic aerodynamics. I don't have to read, I'm not going to read all of these aloud, but this is basically the itinerary for this course, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. But also I have flight practice right when we come back from spring break and flight practice here right before the final exam. But do know that we're gonna be flying almost I would say we should be flying every single day, weather permitting, right? We would be flying every single one of these days, but the flight practice is just we won't also have another lesson, right? We just let you fly. And part of that, especially this flight practice before the final exam, is just giving you flight practice before and also oh see look flight practice before the midterm too is giving you flight practice before the exam because I remember I said that the exams will be like lab practicals. You will be flying as for part of the exam, right? So we'll get you some good flight practice in there so that you're nice and prepared and you feel confident and ready to nail my exams. All right. And that is it for my syllabus. I will be putting I'm going to make a module for this week. I'll put a discussion board for any questions and concerns that you have about the class or the syllabus, anything like that. and I will have a link to the trust. And that's really it for this week. I can't wait to see you guys next week and get the ball rolling. All right. Have a nice afternoon, and I hope to see you guys soon.